Abel says dialogue must improve.
It helps us to coordinate our efforts better.
Midwifery services under-resourced. And a PNG Transnational Crimes list compiled.
This is National MTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining me for Tuesday's news. National Planning Minister Charles Abel wants to see an improvement in the political dialogue between PNG and the European Union. Minister Abel said the diverse areas of concern between the current relations must be discussed to foster mutual benefits. He said this during the second Papua New Guinea European Union high-level political dialogue this morning in Port Moresby.
Senior members of the European Union delegation, ambassadors from France, United Kingdom and PNG government officials were present this morning at Lamana for this high-level meet. Present to officiate was National Planning Minister Charles Abel, who got straight into the occasion, calling for improvement in the existing relationship. The Planning Minister said all development aspirations must speak and relate to each other.
But it helps us to coordinate our efforts better in terms of that singular planning framework, singular service delivery framework, but it commences with the aspirations that we have.
The European Union is one big key player of the development dialogue with PNG. Speaking to the EU delegates, Minister Abel pinpointed some of PNG's concerns in areas like tuna processing, climate change and the energy sector.
We'll continue to process and talk about the economic partnership arrangements, which to me and to all of us should be the most important aspect of our discussions. How we continue to assist Papua New Guinea to become a successful and independent country economically.
Discussions were carried out behind closed doors with outcomes to be presented in the next 48 hours. Next year, PNG and European Union will celebrate 40 years of diplomatic ties. Jack Lapava Jr., National MTV News.
Global statistics show that improvement in midwifery services has a direct impact on maternal and child health care. However, in Papua New Guinea, this service is grossly under-resourced and under-supported.
In PNG, midwives are essential health professionals. They provide vital services needed for the well-being of a pregnant woman and her newborn baby. There are now around 700 midwives in the country, a number that is grossly inadequate to support PNG's current population and the population growth rate.
We need almost 20 to be trained every year for the next, like the government is talking about its plan to up to 2050. We don't know yet because our population is still growing, so we want to train 20 in the 5 midwifery schools so that it can...
The size of the workforce is not the only challenge that midwives face. Globally, while improvements are being made in midwife services, midwives in PNG continue to struggle under trying conditions, especially in the rural areas where most of the population live.
We become the nurse, we become the midwife, and we become the doctor. So they are...
Jennifer Nakisi works at a health post in the Kagua district of Southern Highlands province. She says there are 8 health facilities in the district, but only 2 trained midwives. On top of that, for the last 10 years, Jennifer has been working without electricity.
Don't have oxygen where we need to give to the babies. Some of the rural health facilities don't have oxygen in their facilities. We have life-saving equipment like neonatal resuscitation things or electric light warmer or something that we can keep babies warm during delivery or at birth. And we still have, well, we lack some of the equipment like some other health facilities in the rural don't have vacuum pumps and all this.
In East New Britain, there is a lot more support from the provincial administration in the health sector in general, which supports midwives in the province. But there is still more that needs to be done.
Normally the nurses, we use mobile phones stuck into our mouths and we are delivering the mothers. Yeah, that's real. And sometimes we use the torches the mothers bring, and the batteries go out. It's a problem.
Transportation, communication and basic infrastructure continue to be major challenges for midwives in the country. These challenges were presented today at the second midwifery symposium in Port Moresby. The symposium is hosted by the PNG Midwifery Association. A notable absent guest today was the Health Minister, Michael Malabag.
Everybody were looking forward for the minister, and I'm really sad, but I hope he's going to listen to this and he's going to take action.
This educational symposium will continue over the next 2 days. Sarah Aupong, National MTV News.
Overcoming gender issues is seen as a special challenge that prevents women from seeking professional care during pregnancy and labor. While not prevalent throughout the country, this happens in some parts of PNG.
Sister Jennifer Nakisi, who works in Kagua in the Southern Highlands province, says some customary attitude and politics are obstacles to the welfare of pregnant women and their newborn babies.
Like customarily, they say that the male officer cannot deliver a laboring mother. So when at the facility a male officer is working, the mother decides to deliver in the village. They don't want to come. Tribal fights is one of them. So there is blockades there. So they remain in the village. How they deliver, they deliver. They can't come to the facility as they wish to come.
While in East New Britain, at the St. Mary's Vunapope Hospital, they are looking at more engagement of men to improve the welfare of women and children.
Encouraging male to be part of the antenatal clinic. They come in with their wives to the antenatal clinic. Through into the labor ward, they can be there during the delivery, so they witness how the mother goes through the labor process, so that they will really understand how painful it is for a mother to go through a normal labor and to go through problems in labor. So that is one thing now we are trying to change with men's attitude towards safe motherhood, that we are encouraging men as partners in safe motherhood.
While most of the obstacles to ensuring improved care for women and children are external of a health professional, Sister Maria Posanek says health professionals must take care not to become an obstacle themselves.
And as a midwife, I want to respect each woman as an individual with dignity. And that respectful care is the very important thing that will encourage women to come to health facilities for supervised deliveries and for better care. So our attitudes matters a lot as midwives.
Sarah Aupong, National MTV News.
As members of the East New Britain provincial government met yesterday to discuss funding for Pomio district, health workers in Pomio continue to face delays in vaccines and medicine delivery to outer-lying areas. One of their biggest concerns is the inability of district health workers to adequately service inland areas. All this comes amidst a noticeable rise in the birth rates at the district hospital.
The infrastructure at the Pomio District Hospital has remained quite the same since it was built several years ago. The structures are now showing the wear and tear of the years of use. Teresia Madwekia, the Clinical Health Extension Officer, says the number of births have quadrupled at this hospital, with many of them coming from mothers from logging settlements.
Mi plan non la plo helpi ma or mama or ka mi plan encourage mol tu lo mas deliver lo ausika. Mi plan no like moli karim lo place na by increasing this la maternal death you may like preventing. So what mi place a talking mol mama you plan mas kam karim lo hausik lo you me preventing mama lo karim lo place na emi die.
With the start of a logging and oil palm project 6 years ago, there's been a noticeable rise in the number of people coming to Pomio to look for employment. It has also triggered a spike in the number of births. Inside the labor ward, there are only 2 beds used for delivery in a hospital that has on average 5 to 10 births a month. Sometimes babies have to be delivered on the floor.
We are using the existing labor ward, which is still lik yet. Time all mama is flooding lokam kare. When these 2 beds are occupied, no choice, we have to deliver the mothers on the floor.
The rise in the number of births also mean that a greater number of infants need to be vaccinated. But vaccines don't arrive on time, and even when they do, the hospital doesn't have a steady supply of power to preserve the vials.
Time mipla run short, only run short anta, mipla tu by run short lo ya.
At the outpatient, she goes to see a couple who have brought their sick child for treatment. Malaria remains one of the biggest killers here, and while the illness is manageable, the lack of access to health services and the distance become factors that contribute to unnecessary deaths. Scott Waide, National MTV News, Kokopo.
The Health Department has approved the Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery or MBBS program offered by Divine Word University. Health Secretary Pasco Kase said approval was granted after taking into account the critical need for human resource in the health sector.
There's so much war on social media. The issue will now come to rest. This is because the National Health Department has finally approved the proposal for Divine Word University to continue with its Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery or MBBS program.
So we are happy as a department that Divine Word has been given the okay for the school to start as a policy, but the technical assessment and all that has to be done on a year-to-year basis and done by experts that will be invited to assess the school when it is established. But for now, the health department is comfortable with the setup to commence so that the necessary requirements that are required for such a medical school can be put in place to meet the standards that we would one day be happy that we have a second medical school.
Mr. Kase said that the country's medical schools, like the University of Papua New Guinea, were not graduating enough doctors, and for this reason, they have approved Divine Word University's request because there is a dire need for more doctors in the country.
And we have a number of meetings so far. We know that setting up of a school or a big institution will not meet all the standards on day one. It will take years to establish those processes.
Mr. Kase said the National Health Department will continue to monitor the MBBS program to its standard. In the meantime, a government delegation headed by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill is in Cuba to look at training for health workers. This will also see the recruitment of specialist doctors who can serve in Papua New Guinea's rural areas. Fabian Hakelitz, National MTV News.
The efforts of the PNG Foundation for Women's Cancer received much-needed support today through a 10,000 kina check donation from longtime partner and cancer advocate Colgate-Palmolive. Witnessed by NCD Governor Powes Pakop, the General Manager for Colgate-Palmolive John Wood presented the check to Dr. Luti Amos. Dr. Amos said the financial assistance will go a long way to help the work of the newly established clinic for women.
For 7 years, Palmolive has been supporting women's cancer awareness programs in various ways, including awareness campaigns, and in October this year, the raising of 10,000 kina by donating 5 toya for every personal care product sold in that month.
It outlined the importance of early detection and letting cancer fighters know that they are not alone in their journey. And I think that's very important to clearly understand, because it must be or can be a very lonely period of time. And I think if you know you've got that support network out there that's helping you along, then it must make the very tough journey just that little bit easier.
Dr. Luti Amos from PNG Foundation for Women's Cancer says whilst the organisation is new, it aims to not only raise awareness but also provide screening for women. Theirs is a plight made desperate given the fact that to date the country still has no cancer policy on how to conduct effective awareness, screen and treat all types of cancer. According to findings from a ministerial task force on cervical cancer in PNG, 2 women die every day from cervical cancer, an easily treatable form of women's cancer if detected early through regular checkups.
For government, it is like once it's captured in a policy, then you can be able to fund it. So it was business houses and interested people who got together and saw that there was a need to raise awareness and also do something about it. So that's how we built the Lost Road Clinic up. And this was through funds from friends of PNG Foundation for Women's Cancer. We've not done that. And now NCD Health has come on board to support us.
However, NCD Governor Powes Parkop says healthcare is a struggle for everyone, including people living in Port Moresby. Hence, a few programs are being mapped out to tackle the issue for Port Moresby residents.
On our part in NCDC, hopefully next year, I hope it happens soon, that we will take over health in the city. And it's my goal that we want to make preventive health care a priority, otherwise having a balance. There's a lot of emphasis on curative health care, and I know we need to do that. We need more specialized health care, especially for women and girls, but equally we need emphasis on prevention.
Witnessing the presentation this morning were 2 cancer survivors who expressed gratitude for the unified support of the PNG Foundation for Women's Cancer and Colgate Palmolive Limited. Vanessa Knight, National MTV News.
Over 300 nurses in Madang province who had sworn to walk off their jobs this Thursday will not do so. This is because the national government has come good on the terms to have their 2016 to 2018 award payments made by next month. According to the Madang Nurses President Gekso Dawa, the nurses' payments will be backdated to the previous awards of 2011 to 2014 all the way up to the current 2016 to 2018 awards. The nurses' awards, according to a memorandum of agreement between the government and nurses nationwide, are basically payments that the government has to make to the nurses for the years that it has increased taxes on goods and services. For now, the Madang nurses are assured that all their award payments will be made by their first payday and completed by their second payday of next month. That's pay 25 and 26 on the nurses' calendar. Among stories after the break, police and defense officials discuss transnational crime and Lay Matsup issue warning to families harboring criminals. Stay with us. Welcome back. A workshop on transnational crimes has identified illegal fishing, arms smuggling and poaching of flora and fauna as 3 of the most occurred transnational crimes in Papua New Guinea. The workshop began this morning is aimed at reviving the transnational units in the country. They include the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, PNG Customs, Border Development Authority and the Defence Force.
The workshop is aimed at identifying transnational crimes in Papua New Guinea and finding ways to minimize and punish those involved. Head of the Border Command, Chief Superintendent Donald Yamasombi, said PNG experiences transnational crimes along the land and sea borders of Western and West Sepik provinces and the Papua province of Indonesia.
And when people travel, they carry with them things. People don't travel, empty-handed. That's one of the biggest problems that we're having when people are crossing over.
This workshop aims to promote transnational crime awareness in key provincial commands, which are vulnerable to transnational crimes, understanding key transnational crime types, and fostering relationships between international partners. This workshop is an holistic approach that all security agencies in the country are taking to safeguard our resources and protect our economy.
This is from North Fly and South Fly. Probably during the course of your workshopping during the week, they may highlight to you some of the firearms that they have confiscated down there. They are mostly small arms and air pistols, air guns, smuggling from Indonesia.
Takla Gunga, National MTV News.
2 primary students in Yanguru, East Sepik have appeared before the Wewak Juvenile Court for sexual penetration charges. Police allege that the 2 students sexually penetrated a grade 7 student of Kasumbu Primary in Yanguru on the 3rd of this month. Following the incident, the victim's family retaliated and burnt down almost 70 houses in Kininian village, the village of one of the juvenile suspects. East Sepik Provincial Police Commander Peter Phillips said because the suspects are juveniles, their identities have been withheld. Both students are now in police custody and will be appearing in court for second mention next week. Their police bails have been refused. Wanted criminal Timson Bruce, also known as Whitey, was shot by police in the leg and died of his injuries. His wife and other 4 accomplices were apprehended on Saturday in a special police operation. He was believed to have also issued threats to police and the community in Ley before the fatality.
Wagambi says based on information gathered, police were able to track down Bruce at Munum and Nasuapun villages along the Makam Highway. Bruce was armed with .38 factory-made pistol when he was shot. Police recovered 6 bullets and the pistol from the criminal. One of his 4 accomplices was also injured during the raid.
And unfortunately, because of the distance, police tried to take him out because it was close to 2 hours walk going into that particular area. They tried to take him out and he unfortunately died of loss of blood. That will be confirmed by the post-mortem report.
Bruce was wanted for a string of serious crimes, including the Pelgans armed robbery which later resulted in a shootout at the West Taraka settlement. He is also wanted for an armed hold-up at Bulolo and also the theft of a police-issued firearm at a logging camp on the border of Morobe and Oro province.
Reports from some people that he was in Millen Bay in the beginning of this year, sometimes in the beginning of this year. So our CID in Ley will link up with CID in Millen Bay and try to confirm this person's if he is wanted for any crimes in Millen Bay.
Wagambi has made another call to relatives of other known criminals on the run to surrender to police. There are a number of known criminals who were injured in the shootout, still living in the city and are being assisted by their relatives.
My warning to individuals who have committed crimes within the city and they know who they are, they've been wanted by police. People like Salim talk plenty time. People like go tram long Kisimolo Kam. You've done the crime. Police are after you. More good you surrender to police. Do not make us come after you.
The 4 accomplices and Bruce's wife are now in police cells and are being interrogated by the Criminal Investigation Division. Matalubi's National EMTV News, Ley.
The private-run technical college, HELA Multi-Skilled Training Institution, will be a model school in HELA province. HELA has recently seen a decrease in the enrollment of students into lower and upper secondary and more dropouts because of tribal fights. At the second graduation of the training institution, the HELA provincial government pledged to support the school so that students can upgrade their marks and become tradesmen and women.
A total of 22 students graduated with certificates in adult literacy, plumbing, carpentry, accounting, tourism and hospitality. 3 of the 22 graduates were women. The school is just 2 years into its establishment. These students do not have dormitories or specialized classrooms and equipment, but the school managed to complete the year. School principal David Angobe said the school started with only 25,000 kina and has seen gradual changes because of the support from local MPs.
Me plan making this lab set by coming helping building classroom, finding teacher now la plus something. Okay, me talk. You mean waiting? Some line by not helping. You mean wait, but you mean wait also that's all. Can we do something? Time me talk also now. Okay, what? Agriculture, through agriculture, something by come up.
Tari Pori MP James Marape, who witnessed the graduation, told the people of HELA province to do away with tribal fighting and embrace change and development. He supported the school and funded a double-story classroom worth 220,000 kina and helped with the building of a mini hydro-powered project. All the money comes from the Taripori District Services Improvement Program funds.
The country is not built by lawyers and accountants and doctors and politicians like me. The country is built by the blue-collar workforce, and that is you today. The welders, plumbers, electricians, mechanic, carpenters. You are the arms and legs that will grow this electorate, grow this province, and grow our country through the development challenges that is presented before us.
The institution has petitioned the HELA Provincial Education Department to turn the school into a public-run technical college. Currently, it comes under the TVET program, but it is privately run. Teachers are also not on the government payroll. The school gets most of its funding from its agriculture program. Koroba Kopiago MP Philip Undialu also pledged to continue to support the institution to make it become a model school in HELA province.
Without law and order, MD school by nuna come up. Agriculture by nuna support him, police station Tokyo by nuna come up him. High school we put him by fire tomorrow. You must continue to embrace him. Peace must come up in society.
The school currently has a total of 265 students and only 8 teachers. Many parents and guardians are interested to enroll their children next year. The only issue they will face is the shortage of dormitories, specialized equipment and classrooms. Vasanata Yama, National MTV News, Tari.
And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3150 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3075 US, $0.4151 Australian dollars, $0.2867 euro and 33.78 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, cocoa and copper closed higher, while coffee closed the day lower. Crude oil closed higher, while palm oil and copper closed the day unchanged. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 88.76 points higher, the ASX is trading at 61.97 points higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 61.26 points higher. Still ahead on National MTV News, 179 new recruits in the PNG Defence Force and PNG's contestant in the Pacific Islands pageant prepares for the event. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. 179 recruits passed out of the PNGDF training depot at Goldie Barracks outside Port Moresby this morning. Following the pass-out, they were posted to various military units they will be working with.
Families, friends and relatives of the recruits gathered in numbers at the PNGDF Goldie Training Depot to witness the pass-out ceremony. This is the second batch of the 2016 recruit graduation, which saw 179 soldiers in 5 platoons pass out in full military outfit. The first batch passed out in March this year. Central Province Governor Kila Auda was invited as a reviewing officer to inspect the parade platoons. Officiating at the parade, Mr. Auda commended the PNGDF for a good parade turnout. He said this is only the beginning of a long journey in their military career.
Our people expect you to uphold a high standard of discipline and want to feel safe and secure.
Awards were given to best performing soldiers in each platoon. Eric Arupma, National MTV News.
Miss Pacific Islands Abigail Havora and Miss PNG Kellyanne Limbie are preparing for the annual Miss Pacific Islands pageant. This regional pageant has reached its 30th year, and it is only fitting that the event will be held at the home of the pageant in Apia, Samoa. It is at this event that the reigning Miss Pacific Islands Abigail Havora will hand over the crown to the next Queen of the Pacific.
It's that time of the year again when 8 Pacific Island beauties will contest to be the region's cultural ambassador with the title of Miss Pacific Islands. Although the pageant will mark its 30th year this year, PNG joined the franchise only 6 years ago. And last year, Abigail Havora made history by becoming PNG's first Miss Pacific Islands. Chairperson for the Miss Pacific Islands pageant PNG, Catherine Johnson, thanked Abigail for making PNG proud.
As you know, our reigning queen has done us great justice, and we are very proud of her as she has carried the flag of Papua New Guinea to the highest level.
When Abigail was crowned in December last year in Rarotonga, Cook Islands, that was the biggest moment of my life.
This year, PNG will be represented by 23-year-old political science student Kellyanne Limbier.
I have the advantage of having the current reigning Miss Pacific Islands, Abigail Havora, beside me. Her valuable insights and advice have helped me, and her encouragements have boosted my confidence level.
Kellyanne will be up against contestants from 7 other Pacific countries, including host Samoa, American Samoa, Cook Islands, Nauru, Solomon Islands, Tonga, and Fiji. With only 1 week left of her reign as Queen of the Pacific, Abigail, now a medical student, said the journey has been nothing but enriching.
I just wanted to show the Pacific that PNG is more than what the media says it is. With every opportunity that I got, I made sure that I showed that we're God-fearing, we're deep to our roots, we love our culture, we are intelligent, we can get up and speak with confidence, we're passionate about things that we believe in, and we know how to respect our elders.
She encouraged Kellyanne to be true to herself at the pageant. Kellyanne will be accompanied by the committee of the Miss Pacific Island pageant PNG, stylist and designer Genevieve Igara Faleva from Wantok Clothing, and choreographer Nadia Paraskos.
I promise to do my very best in the regional pageant in Samoa and to uphold the values of our great nation.
The PNG team will stay at the newly completed Taumeasina Island Resort, owned by the Lamana Group of Companies of Port Moresby. Deli Waigeno, National, MTV News.
FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup ambassador Alex Scott made an appearance at the FIFA Safe City campaign. She joined NCD Governor Powes Pakop to spread the message of how citizens can help stop violence in the city.
Having a safe city and stopping violence was what NCD Governor Powes Pakop emphasized while speaking to the youths and invited FIFA guests. Protecting our city and our people against violence and illegal activities, says Pakop, is something all Papua New Guinea citizens should start thinking and practicing. Being a believer of human development in Papua New Guinea, Pakop believes that it is the people themselves who can change the way we live and become better citizens.
That means standing there when there is violence taking place. You just don't be indifferent, but you do something. You might not be a superhero to intervene, but you could phone the police.
With the Under-20 Women's World Cup played on home soil, special guest and FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup Papua New Guinea Ambassador Alex Scott, in his stay here in Papua New Guinea, also took part in the Safe City and Stop Violence campaign while working alongside young men and women to help carry out the awareness of protecting women in our communities and keeping our city free of violence.
An amazing trip for me to come to Papua New Guinea and be here, and then when I go back home I will tell the stories of the people that I have met, the young girls that I have worked with, and to see them smiling, to see them growing confidence, and to see them have self-esteem and belief in themselves. I know that my short stay has done little in changing them and changing the perception of Papua New Guinea.
Scott also visited 2 other schools today in Port Moresby to carry out the message of Safe City and Stop Violence campaign. The campaign will continue on Friday this week, where youths and the FIFA guest will walk to the Parliament House to get the Prime Minister to support the campaign by signing the pledge in supporting the Safe City and Stop Violence campaign, not just in Port Moresby, but for the whole country. Godwin Eki, National, MTV News.
Chukai Sports is next. More on the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup when we come back. Stay tuned.
True Kai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. From the 16 countries that participated in the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, 8 have bowed out. Here's Jeremy Mogi with the details.
Thank you, Helen. Only 2 more days remain until the start of the quarterfinals of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, and 8 of the original 16 teams now remain. Germany remain heavy favorites and will be meeting a French team that had qualified from Group C, equal with the United States. Group D leaders Germany eased through to the quarterfinals with a comfortable 2-0 win over Korea Republic at the Sejonggai Stadium in Port Moresby last night. Germany needed just 1 point to secure a top spot, and they got ahead before the interval with goals from Dina Oshman and Stephanie Saunders. Oceania teams Papua New Guinea and New Zealand have now bowed out of the competition for the 2016 World Cup. The quarterfinals will continue without them, but both teams have a lot to celebrate as they exit. FIFA legend Alex Scott is in Port Moresby to promote women's football and the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup Papua New Guinea. She spent time with the PNG Under-17 women's team and the Under-20 team.
Alex Scott is only the 7th player to earn 100 England caps and is currently England's 2nd most capped player. She has competed at the Under-19 and Under-21 levels for England, including the FIFA Under-19 Women's World Cup Championship 2002 in Canada. For the senior team, Scott has played at the 2005, 2009 and 2013 editions of the UEFA Women's Championship, winning a silver medal. She also participated at the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2007, 2011 and 2015 and was named in the FIFA All-Star team after Germany 2011. She was with the PNG Under-20 team at the fan zone outside the Vision City shopping mall. They took part in small-sided games and was taught the all-famous two-step dance by the team. To close off the 1-hour fan zone session, she presented a jersey to the team.
Yesterday. So I just want to say how proud I am of you that this is my national Lisa to give to all of you. So every time you train.
Elijah Levitt, National EMTV Sports.
That's it from me. It's back to Helen with the rest of the Trukai Sports Report.
Thank you, Jeremy. Trukai Sports continues with athletics and squash. That's after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Selected Team PNG athletes began a 4-day Athletes Ambassador program under the PNG Olympic Committee called Team PNG Heroes. The workshop will look at helping the athletes be role models throughout their communities, as well as helping them with building skills not only as athletes but as individuals.
20 Team PNG athletes from their various sporting codes began the 4-day Team PNG Heroes program this morning at IBS in the nation's capital.
Yeah, so the PNG Olympic Committee has decided to embark on this Team PNG Hero program. We see it as our Athlete Ambassador program. We recognize the value that our athletes play in society as role models, and we want to make sure that our Team PNG athletes, those athletes that have represented the country at the Olympics or Commonwealth Games or Pacific Games or even for their own national teams.
The program is the first of its kind, and the athletes will go through various training and activities to upskill themselves not only as representative athletes but as role models to aspiring sportsmen and women in their community.
The program is looking at developing their capacity around basic skills, life skills, but also skills around presenting, public speaking, and that will hopefully provide them with opportunities to become role models, to become positive contributors to society.
The facilitators of the program are Ryan Pinney, Riley Webster, and Andrew Lapani. The program is also aimed at building life skills, not only as competing athletes, but also when they retire.
3 of us that are facilitating the program, Ryan Pinney, of course everyone's familiar with Ryan, Riley Webster, who's a regular visitor to PNG, is actually involved with Sustainable Coastlines PNG, but has also been involved with Papua Papua New Guinea Olympic Committee programs in the past, our Olympic Values Education program, our Love Your Coast program. So he has some expertise around community engagement and presenting and public speaking, and then myself as well.
The Team PNG Heroes program will end on Friday, and the facilitators are hopeful that the athletes will be able to learn and take in as much as they can. Dion Kombeng, National EMTV Sports.
Built for the 2015 Pacific Games, the Port Moresby Rackets Club has for the first time hosted a doubles tournament. The tournament attracted players from around the country and even as far as Cairns, Australia.
The mixed doubles squash tournament held in Port Moresby Rackets Club last week was used to bring together squash players from around the country to take part in the club tournament. Introduced for the first time, the tournament also attracted overseas squash players from Cairns to take part. President Tim Kribish says next year the Rackets Club will be looking into running an actual competition to boost the interest of the doubles competition in different categories.
Repeat the Port Moresby Open singles which we had in March last year, which was a big success. We had a total budget of 25,000 kina, and it was quite of a professional tournament. Our local best player, Junior Madaku, obviously he won it, and he is a professional now as well, and I hope he is back next year. He's out at the moment on the tour in Australia.
Kribish added the development of junior players for both squash and tennis is also on the rise and is hoping to draw more attention by hosting open tournaments for the code of squash and tennis.
I definitely want to continue tournaments in squash, in tennis, but junior coaching is actually the key, because there is a bit of a lack between Abigail and the rest. There's a big gap, so we have to start now in the younger ages, 9 to 12 years. This is kids what I would like to have here, squash as well as tennis.
With the code of squash slowly gaining its popularity, the club is encouraging interested individuals to try out their beginners tournaments. Godwineki, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Chukai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region, dry in Port Moresby and fine weather in Daru, Kerema, Alotau and Popondetta. In the Momase region, fine although cloudy at times in Lae, and fine in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, a shower or two in Lorengau, Kavieng, Rabaul and Kimbe, and thundery showers in Buka. And in the Highlands region, fine with light variable winds in all centres.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's been the news, sports and weather for tonight. On behalf of the EMTV News team, it's pleasant viewing. Good night.